Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Barakatham to the hopeful elect. This is just a quick video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Basically, a question regarding the consequences dealing with lust, pride, gluttony, and things of that nature, which all those things for the most part they pertain to the flesh. And when you come into this truth, you got to cut off the flesh and become a more of you got to move towards a more spiritual side of things. We can't be fleshly, we can't be carnal, because as I often talk about how America breeds nothing but it teaches these people nothing but living out of their flesh. All right. And again, we got to be spiritual, especially in the times that we're in now, because, and I'm gonna get this, but, basically, dealing with the flesh and the things pertaining to the flesh. If you continue to live that type of lifestyle, where everything is just based off your flesh, then, like the scriptures say, basically those type of people, they're going to have their part in the lake of fire, which, like I said, I'm not going to get it. But I'm going to read this here in the book of Galatians. The Galatians 5. I'm just trying to see where I can start. And you see another thing dealing with this flesh, because the scriptures talk about how here it is, those of us in the truth, and the elder brother had said this and broke it down beautifully. Here it is, those of us in the truth, we're fighting to, make it. We're fighting to make it, period. We're fighting to get a spot in one of those chariots when Yahushua shows up, because the fact being that this flesh, this corruptible body, is not going to inherit the kingdom. All right. So again, just all the more reason to cut off this flesh, because when we get changed into those new bodies, we're not getting beamed up in the chariot with these vile bodies. All right. But I'm gonna read this in Galatians chapter 5. I'm gonna start at verse I'll start at verse 13. Galatians 5 and 13. For brethren, ye have been called unto liberty. Only use not liberty for an occasion to the flesh, but by love serve one another. And as I often talk about how this truth, man, or teaching this truth is all for the elect, man. All right. Because pretty much it's one body, and each and every one of us, has a part to play in the just like the natural body. You have the bones, the ligaments, and the muscles, tissues, and everything. Everything joins together to make the body whole, function properly. And that's how we are in the spirit. All right, each and every one of us, we have our part to play in this functioning body. All right, because we all are one body in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right. And part of that being to exhort one another, like the scriptures say, iron sharpeneth iron, keeping each other on point, feeding and edifying one another, exhorting one another, things of that nature. I'll read that again, verse 13. It says, for brethren, ye have been called unto liberty. Only use not liberty for an occasion to the flesh, Because the flesh, again, dealing with the flesh, man, living just for the flesh, living just to please the flesh, it will get you destroyed because it's a very destructive lifestyle. Just doing whatever you want to please the flesh, that's a very destructive lifestyle. And, and that's going to end you nowhere but to death. All right. And this is where a lot of the 2/3, not a lot, but the 2/3, all of them, this is where they're heading. This is why a lot of Jake, man, they're going to be killed off, man. It says, but by love serve one another. It says, for all the law is fulfilled in one word, even in this, thou shalt love thyself. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. But if you bite and devour one another, take heed that ye be not consumed one of another. This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. Right? So, again, simple, walking in the spirit, you won't fulfill the lust of the flesh. Right? Because the more you get in tune with the spirit, the less desires you have pertaining to the flesh. All right? And it goes, that's a part of cutting off the flesh, cutting off that old man, because when you go into this truth, and as you grow in the spirit, the things that entertained you before you came into this truth, it doesn't please you as much. Like me, I used to be a big sports fanatic. I used to love watching the NBA. I was up to date with all the teams and players and what was going on, but pretty much today I could care less. I might watch some highlights every now and then, just to, if I have some downtime, but just stuff like that. I don't care for it anymore. Like some brothers, when they came into the truth, they were in the, what do you call it, the club scene. They were party hardy every weekend or every night for that matter. But as you come into this truth and you get, you grow in the spirit, you tend to cut the flesh off more and more. So, that club life, that type of lifestyle, it just, it's not for you anymore. You just the things that please you in the world, entertain you in the world, it doesn't entertain you as much as you grow in this truth. All right. Because again, you're walking the truth. You're becoming more spiritual. And with that being said, you're cutting off the flesh more and more. It says, for the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary to one to another, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. All right, because we are, and this is why we need the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shah, because we are bound to sin, being in these flesh, these weak bodies. This is why we need to be delivered. This is why we need those new bodies, because these bodies are bound to sin. They're bound to go off. All right, and like they say this in the world, the biggest fight that you're gonna have, is the fight with you and you, between yourself, man. That's the biggest battle you're gonna have, and that's true. Because like the scripture said, this flesh is willing, but the spirit, you see, that's why we need those new bodies, man. Just slip up with the tongues and stuff like that. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Because to sincere brothers in the truth, we wish we can keep the laws 100%. But we can't. And Apostle Paul said that. I forgot exactly how he worded it, but basically the Apostle Paul, he said it something along the lines of how, he wants to do the right thing, but he just can't, being in this flesh, man. Because this flesh has its own agenda. In fact, this flesh works against us, believe it or not. Because it's like it has a mind. It's like it has a mind of its own. So the spirit, again, our spirit, we want to do the right thing by Yahweh Shemel Shah, but we can't. And even more so, being that we're in these flesh that are subject to sin, these bodies are subject to sin, and this is why we got to constantly be on point with ourselves, like the scriptures say, to examine ourselves. So this is why we got to constantly, check ourselves, man. And hey, if brothers, see something, if they reprove you or correct you on something, take that correction, man, because it's out of love. All right. Take the correction, which, a lot of people, they especially Jake, because Jake doesn't like being told anything. You can't tell Jake nothing. And that goes into pride, right? Because being able to take reproof and correction, that requires humility. All right. Which a lot of these people, they don't have that. You can't tell them nothing. you know, because they're filled with pride, and that's one thing that the Lord hates is a prideful look. You know, let me get this real quick. Proverbs 16 and 18, it says, "Pride goeth before destruction, and an haughty spirit before a fall." So basically, the only result at the end of the day of pride is destruction. That's the only result that you're gonna get. You know, from being prideful, because again, the Lord hates a prideful look, man. And even people in general, man, you've been around someone that's just so stuck up, just so full of themselves. You don't want to be around that person, you know. So how much more how about Shemel Shai, you know? And again, you know, a lot of our people, they're filled with pride. You can't tell them nothing, and this is why they're going to be destroyed. They're going to have their part in the lake of fire. So that's why it's constantly, you know, like I said, this is why it's important to constantly be walking in the spirit, walking in tune with the spirit, because, you know, it's easy to fulfill the lust of the flesh. It's easy to go off. All right. We'll go to here real quick in Genesis. Genesis chapter 4. Dealing with Cain and Abel. I'm going to read this in Genesis 4 and 3. It says, "And in the process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground of an offering unto Yahweh. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of the flock and of the fat thereof, and Yahweh had respect unto Abel and to his offering. But Cain and to his offering he had no respect. He had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell." So the Lord had respect unto Abel's offering, because it was what the Lord required. You know, the Lord required an animal sacrifice, you know, then, hey, that's what you got to do, you know. But Cain, you know, he offered a sacrifice from the ground. I believe it was like if I'm not mistaken, basically I think it was food that Cain was trying to offer up, you know. And again, the Lord required, you know, because before Yahushua came on the scene, the Lord required blood, all right, animal sacrifices, you know, things like that. So basically, again, Abel, he offered up the right sacrifice, and Cain, he didn't, right? Instead of doing the right thing and just, you know, offering up the right sacrifice, verse 6, it says, "And Yahweh said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him." So you see, all right, you know, because all Cain had to do was make the right decision to, you know, offer up the right sacrifice, but he didn't. And like I said here, sin lieth at the door, because again, it's easy to go off, all right, you know. And again, once you live that destructive lifestyle, eventually it's gonna consume you. It's gonna roll over you. Like I said here, it says, "And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him." So again, living your life according to the flesh, you know, hey man, those are some serious demons that it's not that easy to shake off, you know, those demons, because, you know, pretty much these people, they got demons on them, you know. And this is why it's important to fear Yahweh Shem Shah, because, hey, the Lord can put those demons on us, man. The Lord can put those demons on us to become a sodomite, to fall out the truth, so on and so forth, you know, just to be willingly sinning. The Lord can put those type of demons on us, you know, because it's easy to go off, man. It's hard to keep, you know, it's hard to maintain being in this truth and maintaining yourself in this truth, maintaining your walk. It's hard. If anybody's telling you this easy, they're lying. It's hard being in this truth, you know, trying to maintain yourself, do the right thing when you're in a world full of darkness, when you're in a world full of sin. You know, it's hard to do the right thing. And that goes back to part of the, like I said, you know, that battle, man, you know, because the flesh is contrary to the spirit. The flesh has its own agenda, wants to do its own thing. So that's why we got to continue to, you know, stay in tune with the spirit, man. You know, going back to Galatians 5, verse 18, it says, verse 17, "For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary to one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would." So, because again, you know, we want to do the right thing, we want to keep the laws and everything that Yahweh Shem Shah told us, but we can't, because we're in this flesh. The flesh is subject to sin, and this is why we need to be changed. This is why we need new bodies. Verse 18, but if ye be led of the Spirit, you are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness. All right, pretty self-explanatory, or should be. It says idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murderers, drunkenness, revilings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High. So you see, all these things are pertaining to the flesh, which we got to cut off. All right. Like it says, witchcraft, just to give some examples, witchcraft, that's a form of, like that could be in a form of, because, hey, brothers, before they came into the truth, they were selling drugs, and being a drug dealer or selling drugs to your own brother. That's actually, believe it or not, a form of being a warlock. That's a form of witchcraft. All right. You're being a warlock. These drug dealers, all right, that they're basically warlocks. You're not supposed to sell drugs to your own people. All right. They're going to have their part in the lake of fire. Fornication, like I said, some of these are pretty self-explanatory. It says idolatry, which, for the most part, all of us, before we came into the truth, we were in some way, shape, form, or fashion. We were all, part of, idolatry. But when you come into the truth, we got to cut that shit out, man. Witchcraft, I gave an example. Wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness. Someone's always getting drunk. Revilings. Basically, someone that's always. I forgot the term that they use. It's on the tip of my tongue, but basically someone that's always starting shit, all the bodies hit the floor type shit. Someone's always turned up and starting shit, starting trouble, fighting, stuff like that. We can't be like that. Like the scriptures say, being harmless as wise as serpents, harmless as doves. And you cut all these things off, and when you jump down to verse 22, it says, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace." Right? Long suffering, supposed to be patient towards one another, because brothers come from all different walks of life. So, and again, all these examples, like I said, Yahweh Shemel Shah, he pulls brothers into this truth from all aspects, all walks of life. So, brothers have dealt with all type of these things, so this is why it's also important to, again, careful how you treat your fellow brothers, because you might be a jokester. I know me. I was always a jokester. I'm always cracking jokes and whatnot. But even when not even towards brothers in the truth, but just guys in general. Other Israelite men in general, because it's already bad enough that the Israelite man, we're treated the worst of the worst. It's already hard on us as it is. So. As I get older and got wiser, I even just dealing with other Israelites, I don't crack jokes. I don't, I try to be careful how I just deal with other Israelite men, because, I don't know how God's going to take offense or whatever the case may be, stuff like that, again, it says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love. And again, we're supposed to treat our fellow brothers as ourselves, man, because hey, man, like I said, each and every one of us, we're basically a part of the same body. All right. We're all one body in Yahweh Shemel Shai, and you treat the next brother as you would treat Yahweh Shai. If you pretend, just act as if you're treating, if you're, dealing with Yahweh Shai directly, and this is why, again, you got to show love. It says joy, peace, long suffering, got to be patient, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. So you see, because again, you don't want to easily offend brothers or say something to, you don't want to be that type, so this is why we got to be gentle towards one another, and hey, man, just a quick small testimony, man. Because again, the brotherhood is important. I tell the brothers in the group chat pretty often how important the brotherhood is. Having a brotherhood. You know, and just because the water of Yahweh Shemel Shai put me in a position to where I can actually go out there and congregate with those beautiful brothers out there in GMS Orlando. And I've been able to congregate with those brothers, man, and just a short time that I've been able to go out there, man, just dealing with those brothers, man, how they deal with me, man, is something that I've never experienced before. I park in the parking garage right across the street from where they teach at, and after the camp and everything, those brothers, they're willing to walk me to my car and stuff like that, man, just to make sure I get there safe and sound and everything, man. Just stuff like that, man. It's just stuff I've never experienced before, stuff I've never had before. Because I've never had a true brotherhood like that before, so like I said, man, the water that Yahweh Shemel Shai for allowing me to get a little taste of true brotherhood, and it's a beautiful thing, man, but yeah, man, walking in the spirit, because again, all these things that were listed before, man, hey, like I said in verse 21, all these things you will not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh Shemel Shai, I'll just go ahead and read it on down. Verse 24 says, and they that are Hamashiachs have crucified the flesh with the affections and lust. So you see, going into, again, what happens if, basically the consequences of lust, pride, what was the other one? Gluttony, having, basically more than what you need, just greedy, being greedy, again, it says, and they that are Hamashiachs have crucified the flesh with the affections and lust. So you see, again, when you come into this truth and, you get down with the program, man, hey, you got to cut all that stuff off, man. You got to crucify that old man. You got to kill it off. The affections of the flesh. And, of course, because there's a balance to things, it's not saying that, going to the club every now and then, going to the movies with your girl, or just stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with doing stuff like that, But again, it's a balance thing, a balance to things. But again, as a whole, going back to being gluttonous, because a lot of these people, like in this society, what's like adultery, man. These niggas make all type of money glorifying the fact that they sleep with other men's wives, man. Take your bitch and all that type of stuff. That's actually glorified in the society, man. And like the scripture say, evildoers will wax worse and worse. It's not like these people are ashamed about it, the abominations that they commit. No, man, they do it, and then they're they just again, it's a lifestyle that they're living. They don't care. So they're going to keep doing it, and they're only going to get worse at doing it. So you see, these are the type of dingers that Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to start killing off very soon, because they're not going to make it on the first go around. You see, back in ancient Egypt, Yahweh Shemel Shai, he delivered all Israel and brought them in the wilderness, right? But this time, he's not delivering all Israel, man. He's not bringing them into the promised land this time. Not all of them. Again, because 2/3, they're going to be wiped out. Well, not wiped out because they're going to come back, but they're going to be killed on this side. Only the elect are going to make it on this side. All right. Verse 25 says, if we live in the spirit, let us also walk in the spirit. So again, walking in the spirit, man, cutting off the flesh, the things, the flesh, the fleshly desires, and, killing off that old man, and, walking in the spirit, putting on the fruits of the fruits of the spirit. When we, like I just read in verse 22, right? The fruits of the spirit. You cut off the flesh, the desires of this flesh, and you put on the fruits of the fruits of the spirit. Walking in the spirit. Verse 26, it says, "Let us not be desirous of vain glory." Because a lot of people, they do things to fulfill their own lust, their own belly. A lot of these guys, they have their own agendas, man. And this isn't about that. This truth isn't about that. And I'm talking about guys in the truth. You got a lot of these guys, man, a lot of these so-called Israelite leaders, they're, they want to be the top guy, you know. They want to be that guy, man, trying to take the spotlight off Yahweh Shai, and they do these things for vainglory, you know. And it's not about that, man. All we're supposed to do is teach, man. Teach the Lord's flock, man. That's all we got to do. Is simple, all we got to do is teach the Lord's flock, man. Like I said, exhorting one another, man, showing true love to one another, making sure, brothers is straight, being charitable, you know, stuff like that, man. It's not about having these titles and, all this other nonsense, man. We're going to get all that in the kingdom in due time. All right. Right now, we just need to focus on the work and building the temple. Because like I said in the previous video, we are the spiritual temple. We are the third temple that is being built. It's a spiritual thing, and like I said, each brother is a brick within this temple. So again, feeding and edifying one another, comforting one another, exhorting one another, things of that nature, man. Rebuking one another if needs be, It says provoking one another, envying one another, and you got just pretty much like I said, you got a lot of guys that envy the apostles and the elders, they just want to be on that type of level, and every brother, all brothers don't have a lot of being on the level of the apostles and elders, man. Like I said, we're all going to get the titles or whatever, in the kingdom. We're going to get that glory in the kingdom. We're going to get all that in the kingdom. Right now, we just need to focus on building this temple, man. So from there, I'm going to go to what is that? 1 Corinthians 6 and I'll start at verse 8. 1 Corinthians 6 and 8, it says, Nay, ye do wrong and defraud, and that your brethren. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High? It says, Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, being sodomites, right? I'll read that again. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High? Because again, these things pertaining to the flesh, all right, it's a destructive lifestyle, and the only thing that's going to come from it is destruction, all right? And again, you're not going to make it on this side, man, because like the example that I used before, in Exodus, the Lord delivered all Israel in ancient Egypt, but he's not delivering all Israel on this side, man. They're going to have to come back on the second go around. But you see, we want to be a part of that first fruits, man. We want to be a part of the first go around. We want to make it on this side. Because if you don't make it on this side, for one, that means you're going to die a very, very extremely painful, horrible death, right? But we want to be a part of those first fruits, man. Or ye ought to want to be a part of the first fruits, man. Seeing the house shall come with the chariots and, being delivered and all that stuff, man. We want to see that, man. We want to be a part of that. It says, Be not deceived, nor fornicators, just a filthy person, man. Because a lot of our people, man, they're just, man, they're too far gone, man. Our people have become more wicked than the wicked. Esau, Edom, man. A lot of our people have become more wicked than Esau. You got Esau looking at our people like, damn, I thought we were the wicked, Because the scriptures tell you, lest there be any profane person or fornicator as Esau. Roughly paraphrasing it, because Esau, he's the most low life, he's the most disgusting, dirty, down people. All right, when you read in the book of Job, man, it tells you how you can't even trust these Edomites to be around your dog, man. You can't even leave them around your dog, man, because they're gonna end up doing some defile shit, man. You thought Moab was disgusting, they eat the dogs and cats and shit. No, man, Esau, he's the most low life people, man. But our people have become more lowlier. Our people have become more wicked than Esau, man. Like I said, even Esau's looking at our people like, damn, I thought we were what we were. But look at these niggas and wetbacks. So reading on, it says, neither fornicators nor idolaters. And again, just look at Jake, man. They're worshiping all forms of idolatry, man. They're indulging all forms of idolatry, man. Jake is gone. Jake worships everything except for Yahweh Shem Shai. It says no adulterers, and you got a lot of these women, like I said before, Jake, they glorify sleeping with another man's wife, taking another man's wife. But and even more so, looking at these women, man, they take pride in being whores, man. Sleeping with multiple men at the same time. Woman she'll be in a whole relationship, man, and she'll have 2-3 different side niggas, man. And again, that's another one of those things that's glorified. Women will actually get praised for living that type of lifestyle. It says no effeminate, and the Israelite man, hey man, effeminate, hey, basically punks, man. A lot of our men are punks. They're not even men. They're punks. Simps. You got a lot of these simps, because as it's often talked about, man, hey, come into the truth, you got to be a man. The Lord requires us Israelite men to be exactly that, men. And that's what the Lord is grooming us up to be, because a lot of these guys, man, a lot of these Israelite men, they're emotional, for one, because they're living according to their flesh. They let their flesh rule them, because 9 times out of 10, I'll say 8 times out of 10, just putting numbers out there, 8 times out of 10, they were raised by a woman, so, a lot of these guys, man, that's why a lot of the dudes end up in jail or even dead, man, because they made some decision, not according to the spirit, but according to the flesh, and it caused them their life, right? And like I said, when I say that, I mean literally their life been taken, or end up in the system, because they don't know how to live accordingly to the flesh. They don't know how to let the spirit run them. Because like I read in Genesis, the 4th chapter, man, hey man, you want to live that type of lifestyle, hey man, it's going to take hold of you, it's going to roll over you. So it says, nor abusers of themselves with mankind. And that's obvious what it is. Talk about sodomy, It says, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of the Most High. All right, defraud one another. You got Jake robbing each other, man. There's just all type of madness going on within just our own people, man, our own communities, man. Jake defrauds one another, man. They Jake deals with one another very, very wickedly, man, very negatively, And again, going back to the fruits of the spirit, which I read in Galatians 5, man, you got to show real, love towards one another, man. You won't want someone to rob you, defraud you, lie to you, deceive you, do all these other things. So, because like I said, you treat brothers how you want to be treated. Like you say that in the word, you treat people how you want to be treated. And even more so, you treat the next brother as if you're dealing with Yahweh directly. You got to be meek towards one another, man, or humble towards one another, man. And that's real love, man. Because hey, in this society, man, they'll look at something like that and they'll call you a bitch or whatever. But hey, I'll be that. I'll be that. It says, so actually that was the point. Verse 10 again. It says, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers. Again, someone's always starting shit, man, fighting and shit like that. Nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of the Most High. So you see, these niggas, man, this is why a lot of them, they got to die. 2/3 of them, they got to die. They're going to die on this side. They're not going to make it on the second go around, man. When the Lord delivers the nation of Israel this time, these jakes, they're not going to make it. They're not going to make it into the kingdom, man. They're not going to make it into the promised land this time, this go around. So going to Revelation 21, and I'll start at verse 7. Revelation 21:7. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his power, and he shall be my son. So you see, the kingdom, basically. All right, when it says inherit all things, hey, because Jake, man, Jake knows that they're missing out. Jake know in their spirit, they know something's wrong, man. They just know things ain't right. But you see, they can't put two and two together. They can't connect their dots. So this is why they try to establish themselves here in this society and stuff like that. When everything that we want and long for, and in reality, we don't even know what we want. But nevertheless, Yahweh Shem Shai does, and all that we're gonna get in the kingdom. So this is why it's constantly pushed that focus on the kingdom, man. Because everything that you want, all your desires, and even what you don't know that you want, it's all going to be given in the kingdom, man, and then some, right? Verse 8, it says, but the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers, these pimps, right? Because you're not supposed to make a whore out of the daughter. How's the scriptures go, man? No Israelite man is supposed to be basically pimping an Israelite woman out, man. You're not supposed to be make a pimp out of her, or you're not supposed to make a whore out of her, like a prostitute. So a lot of these pimps, all right, whatever the Mac daddies, whatever you want to call them, they're gonna have their part in this. It says in sorcerers, well, basically more witchcraft, witches and warlocks. It says in idolaters and all liars. Because, a lot of Jake, man, they're full of shit. My word is my bond. And, knowing damn well they don't mean a damn thing. Hey, let me borrow $100, knowing damn well, I'll pay you back for it, knowing damn well you're not going to pay that man back. Jake is just full of shit, So it says, and again, all liars. Because, again, you don't want to lie to, a fellow Israelite, man. You want to be truthful. You want to be honest, man. Because, hey, man, like, basically, man, if you got an issue with a brother, settle it, man. What the hell? If you got an issue with a brother, man, a fellow brother, man, settle it, man. The scripture say, let not thy son not go down upon your wrath. What the hell is this, man? But not letting the sun go down upon your wrath, man. If you got an issue with another brother, talk to him, man. Settle it right then and there, man. You don't want to, let this thing, spiral out of control to the point of no return. Because in Jake, man, they don't know how to communicate. They just walk around just holding shit in, man. Jake is just all messed up. Jake is all through, and this is why, again, we need to be delivered, man. We just need to be delivered, and that's the only solution. But reading on, it says, shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. So you see, because the first death was when Yahweh destroyed the earth with water. And you see, the second death is going to be ICBM missiles, all right, swimming in that lake of fire, man. That fire burning with this fire. Read that part again. It says, shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone. What does it talk about? The lake of fire, when America gets turned into a lake of fire, all right, as well as other parts of the earth, because those missiles will be hitting other parts of the earth, but America is going to be completely obliterated, man. We do not want to get left behind when this thing goes down, because this is going to be a horrible death, a very painful, excruciating death. We don't want no part of that. But you see all these people that couldn't, cut off the flesh and the desires and the lust of the flesh and put on the fruits of the spirit and walk in the spirit. This is what they got in store for them. So this is ultimately the consequence of dealing with the lust, pride, gluttony, all these things, man, pertaining to the flesh. This is the ultimate judgment, because those ICBM missiles are the plagues of Yahweh Shem Shai. That is the final judgment of Yahweh Shem Shai. All right, those ICBM missiles. All right, that is the final plague and the final judgment. And this is, like I said here again, this is the second death. So hopefully this was edifying. Giving all praises to Yahweh Shem Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of a great millstone. Yahweh Shem Shai Brakatham to the hopefully elect. Until next time, those well. Shalom.